It happened in the blink of an eye.
I don't think anybody thought that education could switch to online overnight. No one would have imagined something like that.
A process that experts say would have taken time, discussion, and a thoughtful review of curriculum.
Schools had to constantly be pivoting.
We just really felt like it was tough.
Because schools are more than a place to study.
In some cases, that's access to meals and healthcare.
Fostering social, emotional, and physical growth for all ages.
Also the families that are impacted.
Like working adults forced to go remote as schools closed their doors.
There were times we fell short of meeting everyone's needs.
But gradually things got better, and 15 months later, here we are.
We were able to do in-person commencement, and our students were really, and families were really appreciative of the opportunity to have a bit of a sense of normalcy.
And as one year ends, preparation begins for the next.
We started planning, I want to say back in February now, for next year.
But questions remain about what exactly that will look like, and there's an important reason why.
Even if you were looking at our phase 4 and bridge for transition guidance for schools, the first line is that our response is constantly evolving.
Just last week, the Illinois State Board of Education announced the state superintendent could require in-person teaching by the end of this academic year.
We're going to do everything in our power to keep children safe, and we really want you back.
And that means continuing to mask up.
The current thinking is that masking will be required, especially right now from the guidance that we're having on the K through 12 through the Illinois State Board of Education.
A spokesperson for Rock Valley College told us it's waiting for further guidance, a familiar refrain.
We don't know the answer to that question. We will follow CDC guidelines.
Right now, we're still enforcing an indoor mask mandate. But we're going to monitor the federal, state, and local guidelines.
But rapid testing is a tool schools will use.
Now we have the Illinois Shield project that's coming out.
A $225 million effort that uses saliva-based testing to provide results in 12 to 24 hours for middle and high schools, something that Martell says could cut down on the lengthy quarantine stays.
Unlikely that we will have the same level of strict protocols.
But schools say they'll follow guidance from health experts and be prepared for everything going into fall.
We think that we'll still need to have rooms set aside for quarantine and isolation. And the difference between quarantine and isolation is quarantine, somebody who's been exposed but doesn't have symptoms. Isolation is for someone who has symptoms.
But Fulcomer adds students who have received the vaccine won't have to quarantine if exposed per CDC policy. Right now, the vaccine is not required for students or staff come this fall at any school in Rockford. Fulcomer and Jarrett are encouraging getting the shot.
Our staff is highly vaccinated at this point, and we believe going into the upcoming school year that the vast majority of students will have the opportunity to do so as well.
Martell says we could see the vaccine mandated when the FDA fully authorizes it outside of emergency use. But until then,
we're making it incumbent on the individual to take the right appropriate action.
A lesson outside of the classroom so we can get back in it. For your 13 Weather Authority, Richard Bodie, 13 News.